This is not your land. Get off my property now." The shriek sliced through the crisp Texas dawn as a woman in a charcoal suit stormed my gate, brandishing documents like a sword. I had closed on the 150-year-old ranch for $1 exactly 90 days earlier. Every cent of my $200,000 in savings poured into what I believed was my future. Now a stranger insisted the ground beneath my boots belonged to her neighborhood association. My pulse thundered. She had just ignited a fuse she could never extinguish. The county courthouse basement smelled of old paper and industrial cleaner. Fluorescent tubes hummed overhead while I hunched over a metal chair, laptop balanced on my knees, coffee long cold. The spreadsheet glared back, $1,247 in checking, $200,000 committed to the auction block upstairs. One miscalculation and Haven Creek retreats. My dream of converting historic ranches into corporate offsites would collapse before the first client arrived. The auctioneer's gavel cracked. Morrison Ranch, 47 acres, established 1873. I raised my paddle. The room, packed when I arrived, had emptied to a dozen souls. Professional bidders do not vanish without cause. Do I hear $1? Silence. Going once. Twice. Sold to Mr. Grant for $1. The clerk stamped the deed with ceremonial force. "Congratulations," she muttered, eyes pitying. "You will need more than luck." Outside, heat shimmered off asphalt. The radio mentioned Valerie Sinclair, president of Pine Ridge Meadows HOA, unveiling new safety protocols. The name lodged like a burr. The ranch gate stood proud, hand-forged iron scarred by time, a weathered sign reading Est. 1873. 50 yards left rose Pine Ridge Meadows, brick pillars, LED sconces, landscaping sharp enough to cut glass. A white Range Rover blocked my drive. Vanity plate, HOA 1. Valerie emerged, mid-50s, navy blazer despite 90-degree heat, posture suggesting she expected obedience. Behind the steel in her eyes flickered exhaustion. "Mr. Grant," she began, portfolio clutched like armor. "We must discuss this property. I purchased it legally an hour ago. Legal and rightful are different animals." She produced a laminated survey, red stripe slicing my eastern fence. "Recorded public easement, flood control, and community access. Your cousin Daniel transferred development rights to the Pine Ridge Trust 8 months ago. Generous tax planning." She offered $25,000 cash, a tidy profit. I studied the signature. Something felt off, but the courthouse heat had baked rational thought. "I will review the documents." "Take the money, Mr. Grant." Daniel fought us, and, well, he is no longer here. Stress is a silent killer. That evening, attorney Nathan Brooks arrived in a silent Tesla, suit worth more than my truck. "Daniel suffered cardiac arrest 8 months ago," he said, sliding a death certificate across my kitchen table. "Donated the ranch to avoid bankruptcy. We will buy it for $40,000, absorb the complications." His business card listed Brooks and Associates, same address as Sinclair Realty. A medical reminder flashed on his phone, $8,700 due. I called the hospital. No record release without court order. The notary seal on Daniel's signature had changed format 6 months prior. Pixel edges looked too crisp. My partner Alex texted, clients asking about retreat timeline. Some lawyer sniffing our licenses. County records clerk misses. Ramirez, 30 years on the job, remembered Daniel. He fought citations for grass height, fence color, 1 chicken for eggs, $500 daily. Hired PI Marcus Reed. Both vanished. She slipped me an index, easement filings, drainage memos, Daniel's shaky emergency contact, an Austin number. Long-term airport parking yielded Daniel's truck, oil stains, and Reed's card wedged under the marker. Backside GPS, 30.2847, minus 97.7464, cabin. The key waited beneath the propane tank. Inside, labeled folders, spiral logs, corkboard map with red pins for harassed families, yellow for inflated fines, green for volunteer labor billed to fake vendors. $800,000 siphoned over 5 years. Thumb drives held recorded calls. Valerie, Marcus's therapy is $40,000 a year. Insurance covers nothing. Nathan, create a consulting line item. You have earned it. Valerie's voice cracked with maternal desperation. I dialed the emergency number. A rough voice answered over highway noise. Daniel? Who is this? Your cousin David. I own the ranch. Found the cabin. Jesus, David. Get out now. Headlights swept the windows. Multiple vehicles. Valerie's voice outside. Check everything. I escaped with drives and files, tires spitting gravel. Daniel texted from a burner. Safe in Austin. Building federal case. Local courts compromised. Document harassment. Be my eyes. Next morning, 47 citations plastered my door. Grass half-inch tall. Mailbox shade unapproved. Dust generation. Total 23,400. Inspectors cited phantom code violations. Red-tagged the house. Sabotage footage showed gloved hands loosening railings at 2:13 a.m. Valerie arrived alone. Eyes ringed purple. David, Thomas had a 3-hour meltdown last night. Your construction noise is undoing years of progress. I showed her the recordings. Stealing from neighbors is not therapy. I earned every dollar, she whispered. 15 years unpaid. Thomas needs residential care I cannot afford. Mrs. Larson brought an envelope. 23 families, duplicate bills, photos of paid but never completed projects. Anonymous text, community meeting tomorrow. Time for truth. The center overflowed. Valerie's slides painted me as chaos incarnate. Emergency vote. Evict, restrain, ban. Planted speakers praised her leadership. Mrs. Larson invoked bylaws. Owner forum, 5 minutes. I projected Tyler's evidence. Duplicate assessments. Shell vendors. 800,000 stolen. Daniel walked in alive, flanked by FBI agents. The room detonated. Valerie cradled Thomas as he wandered and confused. I am sorry, she sobbed. I thought control was protection. Residents voted to suspend the board, appoint interim auditors, establish voluntary medical funds. Federal cooperation spared Valerie prison but required restitution, lifetime HOA ban, 500 hours orange vest service. 1 year later, the ranch hosts monthly transparency barbecues. Property values rose 20%. Daniel consults statewide. My software powers honest HOAs. Valerie picks highway trash, ankle monitor blinking, while Thomas thrives in community programs funded openly. Sometimes $1 buys more than land. It buys truth. Ever faced manufactured crises to protect real ones? Ever watched fear crumble under collective courage? Share your fight below. Where do you stand when desperation collides with integrity? Speak up.